Hey everybody, yesterday we were talking about Rachel and her becoming pregnant. And today we're going to get a bouncing baby boy named Joseph. So today I just want to look at two verses 23 and 24 out of Genesis chapter 30. It says, "And she conceived and bore a son and said, God has taken away my reproach. So she called his name Joseph and said, the Lord shall add to me another son." So here she finally has this child. I can't imagine how much joy she had. And she also says here, God has taken away my reproach, or some translations will even say my disgrace. Because in that culture, to not have children for a lady was ostracizing. It was a disgrace. There was considered, what's wrong with you? Like, it wasn't God has a plan. And maybe in this plan, it's not for you to have biological children. But in that culture, it was, what's wrong with you? We look at it so vastly different today. And I think that comes from the fact that we have so much more of God's revealed will and word. And we can look back and understand and see so much more. We have the complete counsel of God found in the Bible. And so I think we have a much better outlook on it than they did here, as they were still learning and growing, and God was still communicating with them through this. So the nation of Israel here would have been reading this account from Moses. Now, Moses wrote the book of Genesis itself. What he did was he wrote down as inspired by God, what to write and exactly how things should be phrased. But he wrote down the oral histories and traditions of Abraham and Isaac and Jacob that had been passed down through the Jewish nation for generations. Now, God made sure that as he intervened there and inspired Scripture, that everything was right and true. But when the nation of Israel read this, it had to be, a little startling for them. I imagine as them in the wilderness, thinking about crossing the Red Sea and the plagues and being God's chosen people and Mount Sinai and these things, it was humbling to look and see the past of this family, that it had been a group of people that had made some pretty bad choices. It was a wreck. The whole place was a wreck. The family was a mess. And that was humbling for them, that they didn't come from some long line of perfect people. They weren't. They were just like everybody else. I understand why these two sisters battled back and forth over children. I understand why Jacob became so frustrated with Rachel. I understand the tug of war. But it was wrong. It was human nature. And Israel, the nation, saw that. They saw their past and they saw that they were flawed people. We all are. We're all flawed people. All people in need of God's grace. You guys have a good day.